financial problems, elder law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by Thav Gross. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Good morning. Welcome to Law and Reality. We have an interesting show for you today. The first segment we're going to do Crossing 60, the estate and financial planning decisions you need to make. We're going to really preview our upcoming seminar, which is on August 5th in Bingham Farms, which is on this exact topic. So what I've done for this segment is I've basically taken the outline from the seminar, and we're going to go over each topic. We're not going to be able to get into it in depth for the simple reason that we only have a half hour for the segment, but it'll give you a good idea of the topics that we're going to cover in the seminar. And then if you want to attend the seminar, it's free, and all you have to do is go to the Law and Reality website, click on the spot on the homepage, and we will mail you tickets. It's a good deal. We have a special guest with us this morning, Jim Simasko from Simasko Law. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Ken. It's a beautiful day out.
Yeah, Jim Simasko and Pat Simasko are both our elder law team. They're brothers. They operate Simasko Law out in Mount Clemens. They've been around since almost before I was born. I was born in 54. So Simasko Law is crossing 60. It's a perfect topic, you see? Now, you know, David Einstein, how I knew that 55 to now is 60?
How'd you know that, Ken? Because
Subtraction.
you were born when?
54.
Okay.
And also basic subtraction.
Okay.
Brian Small, I know that's above you, but you're on top of the bankruptcy world. How are you?
I'm great, Ken. It's
nice to
wonderful
start off
be
with
here.
a good morning insult, right? Good morning, Brian.
Absolutely.
Nice to see you. So, let's get into the topic because we don't have that much time. But the genesis of the topic is actually last year I turned 60. I'm now 61. And what came to me in that process was an eye-opener, because until when I was 56, 57, that was fine. That was late 50s, no big deal. Boom, you turn 60, and all of a sudden you start thinking about, wow, I got to make decisions on Social Security pretty soon. I better learn about that. Medicaid, you got to register at 65. I better make sure my estate plan is not in retirement mode, but is prepared for eventual retirement mode. And I have to deal with my dad is alive, fortunately, and he's 90, so I have to watch out. What if he needs nursing home care and everything? All of that hits you like a Mack truck. Trust me, guys, when you cross 60.
What about Medicare?
I covered Medicare.
Covered Medicaid.
No, I said Medicare first. When you
Okay.
turn 65, you have to register.
We'll
My
run
hearing
the
is fine,
We'll run the tape, right?
and my
Right, Jeff?
memory is fine.
We'll run the tape.
Joe, did I cover Medicare? Thank you, Joe. Joe said yes. I'll take this as a yes. So let's. And the other funny thing about that is when you're 58, because I've got a lot of friends in their mid 50s, they don't think about it at all, and they basically say when you tell them that you turn 60, they go, "Wow, you're really old." But then a couple years go by, they turn 60 and they go through the same process. So, you youngsters, Jim, how old are you?
I'm 51.
Oh, see, you're a baby. Well, you're all babies. You were around for the 68 Tigers.
I barely remember them.
Oh, see,
But I
that's
still know the whole infield.
I was one.
oh, that's pretty good.
Norman Cash, Aurelio Rodriguez, Eddie Brinkman.
That is good.
I'll
That
tell
is
you what,
good.
Ken. We collectively agree that you're much older than anyone in the
Fine, now
field.
that we have that established,
Okay?
let's get into
That's
the
good.
topic. All right, so number one, and Jim's going to help us through this because he's the elder law expert. Either Jim or Pat are going to be with Brian and I on August 5th for the seminar going through the materials. So and there's a lot of stuff here. Let's talk about Social Security benefits first because that comes quick. And Brian and I, on our Tuesday show, get a ton of callers calling in asking about Social Security benefits. And here's what you need to know. I want to kind of walk through the topics. Number one is full retirement age is generally speaking 66 when you're my age, but if you're your guys' age, it's going to push back a little bit to the point where if you were born after 1960, your full retirement age is going to be 67. So that would cover you guys in the room. But the key question is, at full retirement age, you can take the full amount of your Social Security benefit. If you also have an option of taking it at 62, and you also can defer up to age 70 before you take it. And the longer you wait, the more money the benefit pays. So that triggers a lot of questions. People are always calling up saying, should I take it at 62? Should I wait to 66? Should I defer to 70? And it's not an easy answer to the question. It's a difficult question, I found out, and I've researched it before. You can, because of the time value of money factor, you have to watch out for when you forego the benefits, you're not getting that money, so you're losing the time value of the money you're not receiving. However, the government gives you a return on that money by deferring, and they pay you at a higher rate once you start drawing. And I found a great article in Barron's written by Jack Ho back in April of 2014, and I'll kind of share with you his summary results, and then we'll kick it around a little bit and move on. But what he basically said is married couples should do everything possible to delay benefits for the higher earner. So husband and wife. Husband, let's assume he's the higher earner, and he would get paid $3,000 a month, maybe a little bit more, if he delayed out 66, closer to 70. Spouse, she can start drawing her benefits at 66 if she wants and take her full benefits. Here's what they suggest. Tap savings if you need to, work longer, or file and suspend to collect spousal benefits. This is an interesting one, and I'll give it to you in short order, and then Jim, correct me if I get it wrong.
Certainly.
It's, suppose the spouse can take half of the husband's benefit, of the other spouse's benefit. I don't want to be chauvinistic here. So let's suppose spouse's benefit is only $1,000 a month. Husband's benefit is $3,000. Half of that is $1,500. For the spouse to get $1,500, husband has to start drawing the benefit. So husband starts drawing the benefit at full retirement age when spouse can draw her $1,500. As soon as she draws her $1,500, under the rules, husband can then stop drawing, put it on delay, and wait till he's 70. She gets the benefit of collecting the $1,500 a month all the way up forward, and then by him delaying, he doesn't have to collect at the lower amount. He can then collect at the higher amount when he turns 70.
That's correct, but whatever amount he takes,
reduces?
No, he has to pay it back within that first year.
Oh, does he? Okay.
Yes.
So, you wouldn't even think of these rules, and you wouldn't think of doing these things unless you did a lot of planning. Now, the next question is, will the Social Security office walk you through that, or do you need it planned on your own?
The Social Security will give you information, but they're forbidden by law to give you advice.
So they won't tell you if you go in there, hey, we got a better idea for you to get more money.
Absolutely correct.
That's unfair. We'll be back after the break.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
Worth Ave Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call Thav Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call Thav Gross. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
A lifetime of hard work. If you don't have the right plan in place, you can lose your home, your savings, and more. And you didn't come this far to lose everything. Samasco Law wants you to know that laws are changing. Today, the average cost of nursing home care is $85,000 a year. With proper planning, we can help protect your life savings and get you the Medicaid and nursing home benefits you deserve.
How much can you afford to lose? Call Samasco Law today.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
Thav Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
All right, welcome back. The important point here is on Social Security benefits, there's a lot of planning and thought that has to go into when you take and when you don't take. You can get information from the Social Security office. They're nice people, but they don't give you advice. They're nicer, I think, than the Veterans Administration that won't tell you that how easy it is to qualify for veteran aid and attendance benefits, and that you can basically get rid of your estate before you make the application and then qualify. But if you don't get rid of your estate, they just deny your application and they don't tell you. So they're not as difficult. Jim, tell me if you're. I don't think they're as difficult as they are in the veterans.
No, they're not. And they have a very good website, too. So if you go to ssa.gov, there's a tremendous amount of information you can access.
And Q&As that will address these issues and so forth.
Well, Jim,
Absolutely
let me ask you this. If you knew exactly how long you were going to live and the exact day you were going to die, and you knew when your spouse was going to die, and you knew what your income was going to be, if you knew those facts, then you would be able to make with precision the best financial decision. But short of that information, you have to really plan because there are so many different alternatimes.
I think
Right.
that
No
I
one
think,
has a
I think
crystal
that
ball.
brilliant observation would apply to a lot of different things that we're going to talk about the rest of the day. On the Social Security one, I got you there. On individuals, what Mr. Ho is saying in his article, women who live longer should try and hold out to age 70 because the women tend to live longer. Men, he's saying, on average health, they should hold out to 68 to start collecting if they're single. That's his advice based upon the time value of money, the return you get on the government holding your funds, and everything else. It's a very interesting article. I'll pop it up onto our website if anyone wants to read it. Social Security benefits for widows or widowers. Widows and widowers can begin receiving their benefits at age 60 or at age 50 if they're disabled. That's an important thing to know. And they can also switch. They can take a reduced benefit on one record and later switch to a full benefit on the other record. What are they referring to that? Husband versus wife? Or?
Yeah, you could take off your spouse. Provided you've been married the requisite amount of time, you could take off your spouse, and then you delay your own benefits. So you could be claiming off a deceased spouse
At 60?
At 60, and then when you reach full retirement age, at 66 or 67, you could take off your own record.
And in that gap period, you could also be working and building up your benefit level.
That's correct. But if you work while you're on Social Security,
You got some taxes to pay.
There's taxes, and depending on how much you make, it could actually reduce your Social Security benefit.
Absolutely. In fact, on that, so first question is, when are benefits reduced if you work? And the answer there is, if you start working before, quote-unquote, full retirement age, which for the sake of simplicity, let's assume that to be 66, could be 67, then you're going to be into a taxable. First of all, if you work before your full retirement age, you have a reduction in benefit in addition to tax. If you're younger than full retirement age, they're going to deduct $1 in benefit for every $2 in earning above the annual limit, which for 2015 is $15,720. It's interesting. In the year you reach full retirement age, they only reduce you $1 for every 3, and the limit goes up to $41,880. That's for 2015. So in the year you're crossing to full retirement age, you might be okay with taking the benefits, but you have a pretty big reduction prior to that. Then on taxes, you're basically taxed on an individual combined income between $25,000 and $34,000. If it's a joint return, you're taxed on 50% of your benefits between $32,000 and $44,000 of income, whereas and it's 50% on an individual as well. I don't want to get into doing the computations because it takes too long, but the important, we're going to do them at the seminar, but issue spotting is a really important thing whenever you have decisions to make. And let's recap the issues we're spotting. You have a decision to make. Do you take it 62? Do you defer to 66? Do you defer to 70? It's a different situation if you're married and you have two accounts to look to in terms of your options versus if you're single. If you're working while you want to gain the benefit, you have to take into account reduction in benefits before full retirement age, and you also have to take into account taxability of benefits.
Jim, I want to ask you this
There's
question.
a lot to learn.
I want to ask you this question. If you talk about the record, and you talk about the record of both spouses. If one spouse didn't really work that much during their adulthood or working years, does that mean that they don't have a record and they're not entitled to benefits? How does that work?
That's basically right. You have to work so many quarters to be able to get the benefits. Some for, if you're getting Social Security disability, you have to work the 5 quarters before you apply for the disability insurance if you become disabled and can't work. If you don't have that work history, then you could get SSI, which is a very reduced amount. It's $600-700 a month. If you've been married over 10 years, you can claim off your spouse if you haven't worked, the stay-at-home parent, whether it's a man or woman. They can collect off the spouse, at full retirement age or earlier based on the spouse's earnings, but then it's only 50%. Now, if the spouse dies, the lower wage earner of the two, the lower Social Security benefit recipient, can always take off the deceased spouse's benefits.
That's if you're married for 10 years.
Correct.
Okay.
Jim, what about the fact that you've got divorce is so prevalent now? So are people allowed to take from your ex-spouse? And what if you have 2 ex-spouses? And how long do you have to have been
Are
married?
you thinking about something we don't know, Brian? 'Cause
But
Brian,
I know
just got married. Now all of a sudden we're talking about 2 ex-spouses. I'm really concerned here.
I
It
know
happens.
plenty of people that have been married twice and divorced twice.
Okay,
so.
I just wanted to clarify
It's
that.
a 10-year limit. You look at the 10 years. If they've been married to 2 spouses and each were over 10 years, they can elect to take from the higher spouse's income,
But not both.
but not both.
And do you only get the whole thing or half?
Half until the spouse dies, and you can collect the full.
Very
a lot
interesting.
of planning issues that go into it. Let's move off of Social Security. We're also going to talk about Medicare at the seminar. And the important thing to know about Medicare is you have to register at the time you turn 65. If you don't, there's severe penalties. So one thing, even if you think you've got insurance coverage at work and you say, hey, I don't have to worry about Medicare, you're wrong. You need to register for Medicare. There's 4 parts. There's part A, B, C, and D.
Hold on, Ken. Jim, how do you register quickly? Like, how do
You call the You go down to the Social Security Administration. The best thing is to call and make an appointment. Typically, they'll give you an appointment 3 months out. So it's very important to do it before you're 65.
Okay.
64
So it's not
and a half.
not
Do
real
you
big
get
deal.
penalized if you don't register for Medicare?
You could lose benefits. Yes.
Yeah, there can be some severe penalties.
Even if you're
we covered on
carrying
a
like
previous
Blue
show.
Cross at your workplace?
Sure, because Blue Cross knows that when you hit 65, you get Medicare, and then the Blue Cross is a supplement after 65.
You need to register. Your basic parts are Part A, which is your inpatient hospital care. Part B is your Medicare that goes at the doctor's office. C is if it's in a healthcare services organization. D is the prescription part. There's a lot to know on Medicare. The first step is you have to register and make sure your arm's clean because they're going to take a whole bunch of blood from you when you go down to register, Brian. That's a joke.
Okay.
We'll be back after the break.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
Worth Ave Gross, our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call Thav Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call Thav Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
A lifetime of hard work. If you're approaching retirement and don't have the right plan in place, you can lose your home, your investments, and your savings. And you didn't come this far to lose everything. Putting a solid strategy in place with Samasco Law legally protects your assets as well as your wishes. Since a will doesn't cover you medically or financially, Samasco Law goes beyond ordinary asset management protection to safeguard everything you have.
How much can you afford to lose? Call Samasco Law today.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
Thav Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Worth Ave Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
It's devastating, the effects of debt and foreclosure on you and your family. There is a solution.
Worth Ave Gross. Our firm will solve your problem. Some fear the word bankruptcy, but in reality, it's a strategy to save your home and to eliminate debt. If you're in financial trouble, timing is critical. You need to take action now. We've been saving homes and eliminating debt for over 33 years.
Call Fav Gross, 888-235-HELP.
All right, let me do announcements, and then we're going to move into the next two phases. We're going to move through them quickly as estate planning and also elder law issues with regard to your parents. Quick announcements, our office in Flint is up and running. You know people who need legal services and help in Flint, tell them to go to Thav Gross. They can just call 888-235-HELP. Remember to watch the TV version of Law and Reality this Sundays, 11 o'clock in the morning. We have an upcoming seminar. I've already mentioned it. It's Crossing 60. It's the materials that we're talking about right now, the estate and financial decisions you need to make. That's Wednesday, August 5th, 6:30 to 8 p.m. at our offices in Bingham Farms, hosted by Thav Gross Law and Reality and Samasco Law. Myself, Brian, and Jim or Pat Samasco will be speaking. All the topics that we're talking about on the show today. To sign up, go to thavgross.com or lawandreality.com is probably the easiest one to sign up at, or call 888-235-HELP. Check out the websites for free reports. I want to thank our sponsors, Thav Gross and Samasco Law. We also have another debt seminar coming up. That is Wednesday, August 19th. It is End Debt This Summer at our offices in Bingham Farms. Sign up for that at lawandreality.com or thavgross.com or call 888-235-HELP. At the End Debt Seminar, you get a free copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. All right, now, back to what we were talking about, which is estate plan issues that you need to worry about when you retirement. Here, and this, I'm going to give it to you in a nutshell, but there's two focuses that we're looking at on the seminar for the rest of this show and in future shows is on the guy who turns 60, the husband and wife, it's that mode, it's crunch time. If you haven't made the decisions to really put your house in order, thinking in terms of, am I going to have money to retire with? It's not too late, but you're in the seventh inning. Okay? It's not, you can't put it off any longer. You need to start a plan. You need to make sure your house is paid for by the time you're not going to be working anymore. You need to be debt free so that all you have to worry about when you're retired is you have minimal overhead. Get yourself to the point where you have to make sure you've got Social Security, you've got some supplemental retirement income, hopefully, but you want to have it so that all you have to do is cover food, real estate taxes and insurance, car payments, maybe have your cars paid for, you still have to have car insurance, and you need a little entertainment money for the grandkids. That's the smart play. How are you going to get there? You need to make some good decision making on that, and then you need to make sure your estate plan is in order. If you got to have a durable power of attorney so that if one spouse can't act on their behalf, you don't have to go to court and get a conservator appointed. You need a living trust so that your assets are in trust so that you avoid probate when you die. You need to take action to get that stuff done. And Jim and I talk about this all the time, and so do Pat. If you're leaving your assets to your kids, you got to make sure that you've got them protected from their creditors. You make sure your kid is protected from his ex-spouse that you don't know is going to be an ex-spouse, but you never know what is on the horizon in this world. You need to make planning decisions. Now, back to Jim. Now there's another one. Beyond your family, what about your parents? Your dad's 90, your mom's 90. What if they need to go into the nursing home?
Well, before they go in the nursing home, we want to make sure they can afford it. And nursing homes can cost $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 per year.
Easy.
Easy. So we want to make them available for Medicaid. Medicaid is a federal insurance that pays for long-term nursing home care. But to get it, you have to be asset qualified. And if you're married, you can keep the stay-at-home spouse can keep the first $24,000 up to $119,000, half the money up to $119,000. But anything over has to go towards a nursing home.
And if you're widowed, how much do you get to keep?
$2,000.
$2,000.
Does that include your retirement accounts?
That includes your retirement accounts, 401ks, IRAs, life insurance
Cash
policies.
value,
What
life
about-
insurance, everything.
What about pensions? I mean, if you have a regular pension coming in, how does that impact it?
It goes to
Medicaid,
them.
It goes to them. They'll take
They
all
just
of your
take it.
income and leave you $60 a month to live on in the nursing home, and that's for haircuts and
Movies.
clothes and
Movies.
movies and hearing aids and all those other things.
That's for hearing aids too.
Everything.
That's
It's
so.
really a crime. It's leaving someone $60 a month to live on in the nursing home.
So the point is, planning is the way around that problem. It doesn't mean that's going to happen. This isn't a doom and gloom seminar and show, but the point is, if you do nothing, that can happen. You even lose your house. You get to keep it while you're living, but if you don't take steps to get it out of your estate, they'll lien the house in your estate. You can get it out of the state. Isn't that difficult of a situation? You do a ladybird deed, but you got to know what to do. How do you know what to do? You should go to the seminar on August 5th. It's free. It starts laying these issues out for you. Tell me quickly, we got 2 more minutes left. What about the veterans benefits?
If you're a disabled veteran and you need the assistance of others for your activities of daily living, then the veterans have an improvised pension. And for a single person, you could get a single veteran, you can get up to $1,700 a month. A surviving spouse, $1,140. Veteran, veteran with a wife, up to $2,200 per month. It's a great benefit. We keep veterans at home all the time and hire caregivers to take care of them. It's a wonderful, wonderful program.
And one of the which we'll really get into in the seminar is on Medicaid planning. There's a 5-year look-back rule, which causes all the planning issues we need to work through. Veterans benefits has no look-back rule right now.
That is correct. It's in legislation. They're trying to impose a look-back rule, but the law hasn't been passed yet.
And let's hope it stays that way. God knows our vets have paid enough of a price in this country. Let them have that benefit as it is. There should be some semblance of empathy among our congressmen who are worried about the budget when it comes to these things. I think sometimes they're penny wise and dollar foolish when it comes to these things. We got
Congressman foolish? Constant issue. Go figure.
I would have to agree with you on that one. That's a Brianism.
Brian's here.
Anybody
That's
else
good.
have any other? We got 15 to 20 seconds. Summarizing these estate issues. Crossing 60, there's a lot to know. You thought by the time you're 60 you know it all.
Sounds
and all
to
of
me,
a sudden,
I'll tell
it's
you
a
what
whole
it
new
sounds
education
like.
process.
It sounds like you better know this stuff when you're 50.
Yeah. In fact, you're making a good point. You don't have to be 59 and a half to come to the seminar on Wednesday, August 5th.
You have to know it for your parents.
Absolutely.
To be able to educate them.
Yeah, when they're 90, they're going to have a hard time grasping onto this stuff.
If you're
I'm sure.
fine, here, we'll leave you with this. If you're fine with both of your parents living with you the rest of your life, then you don't need to come to the seminar.
We'll be back with the next segment of Law and Reality.